Well, welcome back. Well, we have new reports of evidence the Biden administration is resuming those flights of migrants across the country and dumping them in cities across the country. Flights from the border to Westchester County, New York, for example, have resumed. Footage here appears to show buses leaving the airport with illegal migrants on board. Joining me right now is New York Gubernatorial candidate Rob Astorino. Rob, great to see you this morning. We so appreciate you being here. I know you obtained this footage. You're trying to bring light to these flights so people understand what's going on. Walk us through it. What is going on?
Well, it's Biden Express from El Paso to regional airports, including Westchester. I blew the lid on this in August. Then the New York Post did a big story, and those flights stopped for a while. Now they're back. And in fact, they're not at the other side of the airport where they were, where it was more visible to the public. They're now moving closer to the terminal. They're taking these planes into these FBOs, these hangars, and then the buses leave the airport. So it's really out of view. But we follow these buses, and we know where they're going. They're going to rest stops and opening up, and people are getting out and going into cars and going. And it's not only absurd, but it is a complete lack of respect for Americans, because now we've got people that they're labeling as refugees. They're not refugees. They're not asylum. It is really just people coming over the border illegally, and no matter where they go, they're going to get help from the United States government. Here in New York, Kathy Hochul, our unelected governor, has a $2 billion fund in our New York State budget to make sure that they get everything that they need while they're here. That's a magnet. That's an invitation to continuously cross the border, and you're going to get flown up here with a phone, of course, that you get at the border, and then everything else. We also have $200 million you put in the budget for those who are 65 and older to make sure you get on Medicaid if you're illegal. So it's just, it's absurd. There's really no distinction anymore between what is the definition of a citizen versus a non-citizen in this country under Biden.
You're absolutely right. And it's just extraordinary that Kathy Hochul has this as a priority in her budget. What about all of the New Yorkers who are looking for work? What about all of the New Yorkers who are getting choked by inflation right now? What is her answer for that? This is such an important story that you're bringing to the public. Let me ask you, how do we know who's on those buses, where they're going, whether or not they're terrorists? I mean, look, Senator Marsha Blackburn told me that 34 people already have been encountered, and they are on the terrorist watch list. So when Title 42 goes away, who knows who's coming here and what their intentions are? And all of those people that you're talking about who are on buses, that doesn't include the gotaways. And that's at least 1 million in the last year. We don't know their intentions. They're just in this country.
Well, Maria, that's a perfect question to ask. And we've been asking that. And I wrote a letter February 1st to the president, not even a courtesy letter like we got your questions and we'll answer them. Nothing, okay? No reply, because I'm a citizen. I have no rights, apparently, to get those answers to questions from my government. We've got people dying of fentanyl all over the place. We've got a drug war, a gang war. We've got crime all over the place. And yes, there are some kids that are also on these buses that are being reunified with family members or whomever is sponsoring them. But we have a right to know who is actually going into our schools, who's going into our communities, whether or not they've had a background check or if they're, something nefarious. Nothing. We get nothing. And that is so disturbing, because this is a public safety issue, a public health issue, and clearly a public right to know as an American citizen.
I mean, as any government leader, whether you're the federal government or a state like New York, your number one priority should be keeping the people safe. That is a failure. Failure in New York, failure in America. Look at the crime skyrocketing across this country. And let's talk about New York. A manhunt is underway this morning in New York City. Authorities are searching for the person suspected of shooting at least 10 people on a subway train yesterday. During the morning's rush hour, police named Frank James as a person of interest in this investigation. He has addresses in Wisconsin and Philadelphia. Authorities are reportedly looking into social media posts by somebody with the same name who has mentioned in his post homelessness. He's mentioned New York Mayor Eric Adams, Rob. So we don't know if this has anything to do with the wide open border at all. I'm not connecting these dots, but I am connecting the dots to crime. okay? Because crime has been skyrocketing under this administration and this governor.
That is correct. It's point A to point B. Kathy Hochul, yesterday at that press conference in Brooklyn, had the audacity to say people are tired of reading about crime in the headlines. Yeah, no duh. And you know what? You're to blame for a lot of this. And the police unions and the police departments say that is true because of her no cash bail law, which she defends, because of less is more, where she's literally emptying out our prisons in New York. You know, they're not charging gun crimes in so many instances. They're turning a blind eye to all the folks coming into this country that we can't even vet and that she's inviting and welcoming. Look, we've got a real serious crime issue. We've got an economy issue. We've got inflation issue. We've got education, which is upside down. COVID, which apparently might be coming back, and they'll do their own lockdowns, which destroyed our country in New York. There's so many things here that people are anxious about and concerned about, which is why I'm going to win this year in New York and turn this all around. I keep telling people help is on the way, but unfortunately we've got to get from here to there, and they're going to do so much more damage. And talking about crime, her own lieutenant governor, who she handpicked, was just charged with federal crimes for corruption yesterday. It's like you can't make this stuff up.
Unbelievable. But you've got a crowded field, certainly going into the primary. We had Lee Zeldin on this program yesterday. Give us your platform. How's the campaign going?
Campaign's going great. You know, I have experience in Westchester as county executive, never raising taxes, in fact, cutting them and holding the line on the budget, which is really what we need to do. You know, so I have the experience in private sector and in public sector. And also, I think in contrast to what Lee did in Albany in the state Senate, voting for the Cuomo budgets, you know, saying Cuomo should be president of the United States one day, that stuff to me shows very big differences between us. And I don't think you can send somebody who spent time in Albany to Albany to clean it up, who was part of the system. We really need somebody on the outside, fresh eyes, who is just going to go in there and change things the way they really need to be changed, like I did in Westchester.
Rob, we're going to be watching, and thank you for bringing a light to this secret flight situation. It's absolutely outrageous. Rob Astorino, we'll be checking back with you soon. Thank you, sir. We appreciate your time this morning.
Happy Easter, Maria.
And we'll be watching the campaign. All right, you too. Thank you. Happy Easter. We'll be right back.